is also to Karen. I'm interested in, I guess, discussions you may have had, or I'm assuming you had, relative to the locations. You talked about having multiple stores, but I guess and I don't typically, unfortunately, I still want your card, but I don't typically shop in thrift shops. My wife, I don't typically shop at all. Actually, that's the truth. My wife has been known to frequent the store, but I think, and I think the young lady who just spoke, she brought up an interesting point for me, and I guess my question is, because there could be, depending upon where the store is located, because if it's just an urban phenomenon, then persons from the suburbs may feel intimidated to come down, and then if you do the other way, if it's too far out, then those persons who need to get to work, so there's that cross-section of just the, location. So I'm wondering, had you thought that through?
It's an excellent question. I mean, really, in any real estate, any business establishment, location. What we're really looking at is putting the stores in locations where both those in Middle America to even Upper Middle America, as well as those in need, would be comfortable going to. So that would be very key. As far as being located near other thrift stores, the research has shown that's actually a positive. If you think about when people go to shop at a mall, there's a ton of clothing stores, and you go to the one you want, and having multiple stores is actually a draw. So at first we thought we had to get away from stores, but through the experts we have learned that actually is not the case. Did I answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Dave?
Dave Capola from Respect Challenges. I have and I think this is a very difficult question to answer, so it's going to go to all of you. When you're hiring people that are out of, for lack of better terms, a place that they didn't wish they were in to begin with, one of the problems that I find that they have is where to stay in respect to this. So my question is, have any of you looked into whether it be temporary housing or something to put this in? Because I tell you, this is a tremendous problem, because I've met people that said, geez, I live over there. I can't even afford to get to this place over here. And so they have the double whammy. Not only can they not find employment, which is one problem, but they can't find housing to go on the other side. And I find this to be a big problem because, of course, neighborhoods don't want places that may be housed. And I know this isn't anything you haven't heard, but my question is, and I know it's a hard question, have you tried to address this? Because I work for a place that's like a shelter too, and I know all the problems that happen, on that type of thing. So
yeah, I'm thinking even internally amongst our programs, we all work together with the community, and one of the things that we like to provide, especially with the Family Success Program, are those wraparound services. So if an individual were to come in for, say, lack of employment, through an assessment tool that we call a Family Success Plan, we kind of try to draw a little bit more information from them to find out if there's any other additional needs that they might have that are not being addressed. And through the relationships that we have with the community, then we're able to provide them with those temporary services. Can we get everybody a place to stay? No, we can't. There's no panacea for that, not yet. But I know that since all of our missions are really social based, I know that something will definitely come from that. Through this process, we've been able to work together, again, keeping those connections with other programs in the community that provide those specific services. We're able to address many of those issues. But then also with employment, go ahead.
They're a real team.
We are.
A shelter is in the works, or a home because we have a lot of guys, not guys that are coming out of incarceration that has issue. Systemically, it's set up for them to go right back. Because if you have a criminal record or felony, you can't get TRA, you can't get housing, and every shelter wants a voucher from welfare. You can't get welfare. So what you want these people to do? So at Fathers Now, one of the things that we're looking at is getting a building or getting housing that we can set up for our guys. Because it is troubling. Everybody's going through hard times. Everybody, like I mentioned, dead broke dads. We have families that go through that situation. And shelters will reluctantly tell a dad, and as a child that he can't stay here because shelters are basically set up for the mother and the kids. So you see, dads have a tough time out there.
Ken, 4HP, you have a solution for this?
Yesterday I met with someone from the governor's office, and one of the things they're talking about, they have a task force, and what they're doing now, they're actually looking, because it's not just the reentry problem, there's also a problem with the drug addiction. And if anybody knows, right now, they just, Governor Christie has basically set up some type of program, like those that have addictions will not go into prison. Now they're going to go into drug court assessment places. Well, guess what? Where are these people going to live? And that was one of the questions that was brought up yesterday. So as of yesterday, they supposedly now looking into the housing part. And this is where 4HP, that's one of our key areas, is housing. And I was just speaking to someone from Brick City today, and that's what we're actually looking at, not looking at a place that has 4 rooms, we're actually looking for a building, all right? Because that's one of the key problems. If these people come out and they don't have a place to stay, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go back into doing some of the things that they were doing. Because you go into a shelter is only for a certain amount of time, and then they put you out, all right? But we want to try to have a place where they're able to stay for a longer term. So our program is actually from 12 to 18 months. By that time, they should have themselves together with the paperwork as far as having a driver's license. Because if you don't have a driver's license, you go apply to these places for a place to stay, guess what? You're not going to be able to do it. So as of yesterday, as I was saying, the task force, that's one of the areas that they're starting to look into now.
You're right. I mean, this is a huge problem. Employment and housing, and as they all said, it's a problem. There just are not enough affordable houses. We have are in the signing an agreement, and we'll have a building up by the end of the year that will house 8 to 16 men in Elizabeth, that will provide the residential component. These will be the guys that will go into the work part of the program. That's why the store coming up is so critical. As far as the ladies right now, what we'll do is work with people at the Y who have a women's program right now. But I think it's an issue that all of us need to address, is expanding affordable housing. We'd like to get into supportive housing as well, as we generate the revenue to be able to reinvest. We want to buy up houses, renovate them, and then move people as they come out of, for example, our program, into a supportive house that they could stay in indefinitely, in a home-like environment, not an institutional dorm setting. So that's what we're trying to do, is move the guys into that. The program or the building that we'll have by the end of the year will have 2 guys to a room. So it won't be an open dorm, just beds all over. Restoring dignity, rewarding, and then working for their own place.
Fantastic. So I'll take one more question